Okay, now I just want to try some quick recognition using two graphs. Quickly recognize what the equation is and what the slope is. Let's see if you can start to kind of key in on the important points and recognize that without doing a whole lot of work. We're not going to write down a whole lot. Just try to recognize it and see it. Now these two graphs, this graph here and this graph here, are in the glossary. This one is for what a linear relationship is. It's a straight line that has a unit change, a change in a rate of change is what I want to say. So it has a unit rate basically, or a slope. It changes the same amount for every unit it goes out, but it's a linear relationship, not necessarily a proportional relationship. A proportional relationship is a special case of a linear relationship that goes through 0, 0. And this one is the slope. How do you calculate the slope? It's the length along the vertical side of a slope triangle compared to the length along the horizontal side, or the number of units in the vertical direction compared to the number of units in the horizontal direction. But let's use them to see if we can't see fairly quickly what the equation is and what the slope is. So the equation, remember, if you start out with this slope triangle right here, so you start out at 0, 40 and draw the slope triangle to go from here up to here. So I'm going out 1 unit. So notice, to write the y value, I have to subtract this 40. So it's going to be y, whatever this point is up here, and we just call it xy right now. The y is going to be y minus 40, because you have to slide this down 40 units. Now, do I have to slide it over at all? No, I don't. So it's just going to be x. It'll be x minus 0. This point is 0, 40 right here. So it's going to be x minus 0. So it's going to be y minus 40 over just x. And what's the slope? What's that going to be equal to? So for this 1 unit change, this 1 day, how many pages does this person read? So in 1 day, they read 20 pages from 40 to 60, plus another 10 more. So 20 plus 10 is equal to 30 pages. So the slope is 30, and that's going to equal y minus 40, which is the number of units in the vertical direction, over x. So x is just the x value, and that equals 30. So now we're going to do a little bit of algebra. So y minus 40 is 30 times the number of days. So in other words, the number of pages that gets read is 30 times the number of days. So y minus 40 equals 30 times the number of days. So it equals 30x. And so now you have to get the y coordinate right here. To get that y coordinate, that's this point right here, for example, you have to add this 40 back. To figure out where it is, you have to add the 40 back. So y is equal to 30x. I have to add this 40 to this side. So it's going to be equal to 30x plus 40. So let's say that x equals 1. So we're right here, x equals 1. 1 times 30 is 30. So we're going to go up 30 units. That would be right here. But now we have to add this 40 units back. So that's going to push it all the way up to here to 70. So this point right here is going to be 170. So y is equal, so this is the rate of change right here, or the unit rate, the slope, and this is the head start. I don't know why there's a head start in the number of pages that gets read. Maybe there's a bunch of things in the beginning of the book, and the reading actually starts on page 40. So after 1 day, they're at page 70. So it's that 40 plus the 30 pages that actually get read gets you up to page 70. All right, so this one. So if you look at it, what's going to happen now? So you guys can start to see this. You're going to take this point, or this slope triangle, and you're going to subtract this 1 unit. You're going to move this down 1 unit. So that's going to be y minus 1. So if this point is xy up here, it's going to be y minus 1, because this point's 1, 1. You're going to slide this down 1 unit, and you're also going to slide it over 1 unit. So it's going to end up being y minus 1 compared to x minus 1. And so that's going to equal the slope. So y minus 1, so you have to get rid of this 1 and you have to get rid of this one. And that's equal to the slope. Well, what's the slope? The slope is the number of units in the vertical direction compared to the number of units in the horizontal direction. Well, the number of units in the vertical direction is 2. The number of units in the horizontal direction is 3. So this is 2 compared to 3. So this length is 2/3 of this length. So this is 1/3, 2/3. So this length right here up to this point is the same as this length right here. So the vertical length is 2/3 of the horizontal length. So this is 2, this is 3, so that's 2/3. So now we have one form of the equation. It's not too bad. So y minus 1 is 2/3 of x minus 1. So the number of units in the vertical direction is 2/3 of the number of units in the horizontal direction. So I can write that. The number of units in the vertical direction is equal to 2/3 the number of units in the horizontal direction. And this gets a little bit tough in here. So y minus 1 is equal to 2/3 x. It's 2/3 times that x. So whatever value of x is, the number of units in the vertical direction is going to be 2/3 of that. And it's that 2/3 x minus 2/3. I'm going to show you what that is in just a second. So you have to subtract 2/3. Now to get the value of what y is, you have to add this 1 back. Remember we took this 1 away? Well, you have to add it back. So you add this 1 back. So if I add 1 and I subtract 2/3, what's 1 minus 2/3? That is equal to 1/3. So y, and this is a little bit tough in here, and it takes practice, and we're going to do this. And I'm not expecting you to study this or know this or anything right now. Just look at it and take it in, see if you understand what's going on. Y is equal to 2/3 x plus 1/3. All right, so let's look at this slope triangle right here and see how this fits. For every unit in the horizontal direction, it goes up 2/3 of a unit. So if I start here and I go over 1 unit, we don't know what the unit is, but it's 1 unit, then we go up along the y-axis 2/3 of a unit. That's what this is telling us here, right here. So the number of units in the vertical direction is 2/3 the number of units in the horizontal direction. And notice where we start. We start at a positive 1/3. We start right here. That's this positive 1/3 right here. And how do I know it's a positive 1/3? Well, if I know that this length is 2/3 and this gets me up to 1 unit, then this little length right here has to be 1/3, which is the same as this length. So this is 1/3, and then to get up to 1 is 2 more thirds. So this is 1/3, 2/3, 3/3 to get to 1. It's not too bad. Just keep trying it. So this is just a quick recognition of both the slope and the equation, and we're going to practice this quite a bit in the future.